we're going to try to go through and give you a good rundown of Project X, and afterwards, please ask any and all questions. And yeah, we're excited to kind of get you filled in on everything.
Yeah, perfect. There I see it. Well, let me just grab it on the big screen, because somehow YouTube is giving it a little bit of trouble, but I will mute myself. I will hand over everything to you guys. And let me just fix YouTube really quick, because somehow it's not streaming. But I will have this sorted out in a second, right?
All right. Just tell us when, Paul.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So, now it should be running. Yes, we're fine. We're fine. You're good to go now.
All right. Cool. All right, everybody. Well, welcome. What's that?
I just said have fun. Don't mind me.
Oh, thanks. No, appreciate it.
We will.
All right. So as everybody here, we're all familiar with each other. We, Carrie and I, Martin, Flame Bull, we stem from the BD Capital family. So we started, we hopped on with Paul and AJ and Moneybin to bring you Project X, which you can now see is called Beast Protocol. Beast Protocol, it came about because we came up with the project. Paul for a little while was kind of thinking over this sub fund and how it could function and the utility behind it. We eventually, kind of all started wrapping our head around staking. So Carrie came up with the idea and the acronym of the best staking token, or best and easiest staking token. We kind of simplified that and boiled it down to Beast, which we thought was a good, kind of hard, aggressive name to just say, get it out there. Something we could soften with a little bit of a nice image. And we went down the path of creating an image together, and got a good starting point and a foundation for where we would like to see Beast Protocol go. So once we had the kind of the artwork, the base utility, and we were working on that still, we actually had the idea of going down and reaching out to. Is there a noise there on the mic? Everything okay?
Just a little bit of I guess wind or something, but nothing too bad.
Nothing to worry about. Okay. So we started going down the path of thinking about marketing, and how much can we do on our end, and building the project. We wanted a consistent and a very dialed in image that carries and is consistent across the board, starting now through everything. So we ended up, Paul, through his contacts, reached out to somebody he knew in marketing. We reached out, and it happens that the gentleman has been working on another project and had some great graphics. So we felt good from the start, just from the artwork and everything going on. So we had the base of Beast, but we wanted to like I said, dial it in more and let it take off. So I actually reached out to him by telephone because he's a U.S. citizen, so it's easy just to call him up. We talked on the phone multiple times for an hour here and there, and just really went over kind of the starting of BD Capital and Banker's Dream and how it's formed into where we are now with Beast Protocol and the sub fund. So that felt very good in itself, just to be able to have somebody now that I can literally just call up any second. He answers, we talk a lot, go over this stuff, and it really excited things for the path forward, knowing that we're working with another reputable person who we all came to feel very good about. So after going over with him what we want to do, we kind of looked at what he can help us with, and what we'll be doing is we'll be building an initial web page just to, through the seed round and pre-sale, as we start to build the utilities on the web. When we go down that path, we'll have an initial starter page that everybody can go to for your base info. And with that base info, we're going to have a lore. And the lore you might have seen posted before is the kind of story that goes behind Beast Protocol and the Griffin and how it came about. And that lore will follow a parallel road with the roadmap. And the roadmap has its, like any other crypto project out there, it has its things we want to hit. Here we go. Paul putting the lore in there. So this will parallel the roadmap, and people will be able to see, along this path, we're going to have, seed, private, pre-sale, exchanges, everything that follows after that. So with Beast Protocol, one of our goals was not to just create another token on the BSC network. By branching out to another network, another blockchain, we could really pull from another base of investors, people that might think differently, invest differently. And that's when we started to kind of look around and see, what really fits best with the utilities that we came up with. And in the end, we ended up coming up with the Avalanche network. It really creates an excellent exposure outside of the BSC network with a whole new base of potential investors. Kerry had a good telling me, I didn't know this, and he was just sharing some info with me on pretty much earlier not only the base of new investors, but the amount of transactions that AVAX network can handle over BSC or Ethereum, where Ethereum can handle 15 to 30 transactions per second, BSC 600 to 300 per second. The Avalanche network can handle 4,500 transactions per second, with some testing showing around 11,000. So, it might not be on everybody's kind of, on your front burner as far as where you go to buy in your products and everything. But in the Avalanche network, it is on their minds. And it's a whole different, type of person and investor out there that we're going to be reaching out to. I'll go over the tokenomics with you guys.
I'll bring up the chart for you, Chris.
Yes, please. Kerry. All right, so one.
There we go.
Cool. So one of the questions, when moving forward, excuse me, to buy into the seed round was, there is some confusion now and then as far as, if you have, your BNB and you send it over for seed round, how much does it get you? And it really is, it's hard to, like when I have a question about stuff, I go to the team and I'm like, hey, wrap my head around this a little more. Like, how do I explain this better? And, Kerry came up with a graphic here to just show you, regardless of if you spent, last year, $600 on BNB, or now, you spent $270 on BNB for one BNB, you're getting 50,000 Beast tokens. One AVAX equals about 7,800 Beast tokens. And then, of course, as we go up through the rounds, one BNB gets a little less, but it's still that 1 to so many ratio. So as soon as we go through the seed round and you send over, your amount that you want to pledge for seed, it's not going to dwindle the amount of tokens that you buy, say before you are able to actually receive your tokens. Whether you send over one BNB, which is about 270 right now, and then say in a couple of weeks it's 170, or whenever it is you're going to get tokens, you're still getting 50,000 Beast tokens. And then the bonus to buying in these first rounds is the no buy tax. So you're saving When we go to tokenomics here, you'll see we're saving 10% on that first round to purchase. Carrie, do you have the poster for the tokenomics there?
I can get it up, I think. Just bear with me a sec.
I got it right there. I got it.
You got it? Yeah.
Yep. All right. So just going to go over tokenomics with you guys quick. I know it's been up there for a couple days. So we have the buy tax 10%, sell tax 15%. Just reading off there, we have the 0.75 on the buy for devs, 3% liquidity, 2% marketing, and then 4.25% fund. The fund, which we will go over here in a little bit with Carrie. And then on the sell, devs 1%, liquidity 4%, marketing 4%, and then the fund 6%. And one of the questions we've been getting is the other day was, the devs percentage. Not to be confusing with the BSC space, which you don't see it a lot, where you do other spaces. The dev tax is really, operating costs. It comes down to I will be myself filing the corporation paperwork for Beast Protocol. And with that comes not just, filing fees, but all the paperwork and legalities that come with that, down to paying the tax man and the guy who prepares the taxes to pay the tax man. We want to have a budget to be able to operate ourselves, because, everything we do up until this point, we are all just, morning, nights, weekends, days, every time we can get all this free time to build this project. So if, at moments, we're able to make a little bit of a living, it's not enough, of course, for everybody to quit their day jobs, but it's helpful when you're trying to be committed to a project and you don't have to worry about your wallet that's sitting there. Because we all know that, while it is good to have team vesting and all this, everybody likes to see that team vesting, that amount that you have the dev, they like to see it staying steady and not just slowly, selling off over time or whatnot. In worst case scenario with a lot of people, if they're not making money, that's when, the worst things happen. So we really want to make this a sustainable project for everybody, so that not just for ourselves as devs, but for the community, so that you guys feel comfortable knowing that, these guys are actually able to make a living and properly run a business, and which lets in turn the investors make money, and we can constantly develop this project. So, even when it comes to our mods, and, I don't know if anybody knows, but, Carrie and I and all the mods, we've been pretty much, doing this for, the past few months, so many months, kind of volunteering our time for the community just to make sure that BD stays steady. And, we believe in Paul and AJ and Simp and the whole project. And, we really have been there trying to just help out. We never really asked for anything, and, we want to be able to, moving forward, help out, our team when we can. So just to, clarify the point, the dev tax there. And I think the other guys, liquidity and marketing, absolutely. We want to make sure we have enough in there for the marketing budget to really stay on top of marketing, branding, all the stuff that we need so that we can have successful, full force campaigns moving forward, where if we're doing something, we're getting out ahead of it, having some branding and marketing pieces made up, and, really getting it out there. And when it comes to the fund, Carrie now will kind of give you a good in-depth on what we have going on there.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So next slide along, if I can get this to work. All right, so the utilities. Now, it's been, I guess it's been teased a little bit that we've had staking as one of the utilities of the fund, or of the token, with the 40% of the total supply dedicated to staking, as you would have seen in past infographics that we shared on BD Capital. So there are three main utilities for holding Beast, and the first one is the staking. So we've come up with, it took us quite a while to come up with a figure that was sustainable long term, but we came up with a figure of 30% APY, so 30% annual percentage yield. It is lower compared to other projects around, but also compared to conventional finance and banks, it's like unreal. So 30% is still very decent, and it's going to be sustainable. So it's going to be for 3 years. We decided 3 years is going to be around the limit where we start to move over into the investment fund side of things, which I'll talk about in a minute. The other thing is locking versus unlocking. Now, there's pros and cons for both locking and unlocking. Locking, staking, it's good for the price action. Obviously, if you lock it in, people can't sell until the end, which then will cause a fairly decent dump at the end. So pros and cons. Unlocking, it gives people more freedom to choose what they do with their money. If they want to take it out, they can. They're not locked into any contract kind of thing. So as a team, we're still working through that process, and we'll get back to you with an answer to that in the coming days or weeks. And so, yeah, a lot of projects coming on the scene with unrealistic APY. You see some of the, I'm not going to name the projects, but you see the 2 million% APY and 400,000% APY. And often the case is that it lasts for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they have to make an announcement to say, sorry guys, we have to cut it back now. It's becoming too unsustainable. And so with 30% APY that we've chosen, it's just going to make that make a lot more sustainable for the future. So 3 years is what we have aimed to have the staking run for, with the 40% of the total supply and the 30% APY. At which point, hopefully, well, I think it's going to will happen, that the investment fund is going to take over as the primary source of the passive income. So the investment fund is going to be investing in 2 main kinds of projects. So investing in staking projects, so other similar staking projects on the Avalanche network. And also another new one is investing in node-based projects. Now, BSC, they do have a few node projects, but Avalanche is becoming fast the place to be for those kinds of things. I think you might have seen my pandas that I have had in the past on my profile pictures. That's all part of an Avalanche project, and so it's one of the things that they do well, and we're going to tap into that while we can. DCAing, so obviously like the whale fund we have for BD Capital and banks, we're going to DCA again, dollar cost average in and out of investments, just to make that ongoing and make the best investment choices possible. And in saying that, we have an amazing knowledge bank of investors in banks, and so we've actually reached out to some people, and we're really happy to say that Rob G, you might have seen him around the chat a bit. He's going to come on board as sort of like the behind the scenes advisor. So if you've seen his documents on staking and nodes and stuff, it looks like a university thesis paper in terms of what he has done on that, and he's going to be a big wealth of knowledge going forward for us, to sort of advise us on the best plan of action that we can take to maximize our investments in the long term. And the third utility, I'm going to talk more about nodes in a minute, but the third utility is NFTs. Now, it's not set in concrete in terms of exactly how the NFTs work, but we have a fair idea, and more information is going to be given to you guys in the coming days and weeks. We're going to plan to have a collection based around our theme, and those NFTs are going to be linked in some way to the investment fund. So again, there's going to be more details coming soon about that, but there's something to look forward to, and really they will be nice JPEGs, but also they will have a use case, and they'll be directly linked to a utility as well. So yeah, that has a use. Going to the next screen. What are nodes? So I know that for some people investing in BSC projects, you might not have a clear idea of what nodes are. And really before a month or 2 ago, I didn't have much of an idea either. So it's been a pretty big learning curve for me, but I like what I see about them. So what are nodes? So basically, they're virtual ledgers that contain the whole history of data and transactions on a blockchain. The more nodes, the better on the network, because that means it's increased security with nodes spread out around the network. So they're not all in one central place. Think of it like a spider's web, and think of nodes on different points of the spider's web. And the power of nodes is that it only takes one node to restore a network should it be compromised. So in theory, if there are 100 nodes in the world and 99 got compromised, if they got hacked or they got shut down, whatever, only takes one node then to bring back the whole network. So you can see the power of nodes, and the more the better for that security and safety aspect of things. All right, next one. So what do nodes do? So I sort of said that before, but they accept and reject transactions. And they also manage the validity of transactions to ensure the network does not get compromised. So it's like just basically keep the safety and integrity of the networks of the blockchains in order. So with our node staking project that we're going to be investing in the fund for Beast, there are two types of nodes. There's one called the master nodes and another one called staking nodes. Now there are many other nodes available in the crypto space, but these two are the ones that we're going to be sort of honing in on and basically putting investments into. So the first one is master nodes. Now master nodes sound like the big powerful nodes, and they are, because they're large servers on a network. They are used to enforce the laws of the blockchain. So they put in the protocols for the laws. There's voting mechanisms in place on the master nodes as well. They need many resources to run those. So they need power, they need a lot of storage, RAM, they need hardware. They're expensive, but they give decent rewards for the work. Up to $200,000 US a master node. So they're not cheap, but they, having said, they do give decent rewards for what they do on the network. So down the road for the roadmap, we will be going. We'll be trying to get a master node or two, but early on, initially, we'll be going on and investing into staking nodes, which are smaller ones. And think of proof of stake. So think of users stake money, validate transactions, and then are rewarded for their services. So similar to staking tokens, basically. And what normally happens is that users trade native tokens to get one node, and that earns them regular rewards until the node gives up or dies. And that could be up to it could be 6 months, could be a year, could be 2 years. They all vary depending on what the node is used for. And those ones are pretty inexpensive, up to $200. Some are some are more, some are less, but the average price is around $200. So basically, that's where we're at for the investment side of things, guys, and the utility. The two things, so staking and the nodes, and then also we've got a limit. So we've got 90 days minimum before we start giving out dividends on the fund side of things. That's just because we don't want to deplete our investment money before we get that going. Similar to the whale fund, we want to make sure it's a decent stockpile of funds and nodes and other projects before we then send out the first dividends. Basically, we are going to be transitioning full time to the fund after 3 years. We're not going to be waiting 3 years to start the fund. So basically, for the first 3 years, the staking of tokens, staking of Beast tokens, and the investment fund will be working side by side. And then after 3 years or so, when the staking pool is kind of running slim for our tokens, then we'll be moving and transitioning over to the fund side of things. Which by that stage we are hoping and it'll be a very decent passive income for all the holders. So that basically sums up the utilities for Beast. I think Chris is going to be talking now about.
I was talking, but I was muted, so sorry about that. So, originally, when we first started talking about Project X and Paul was talking about it, or we can say it now, Beast Protocol. One of the biggest concerns was the time management side with Paul, AJ, the rest of the BD team, and are they going to be splitting too much time over at Beast Protocol and not enough time on the development of BD Capital? So through the development process, I mean, there was just constant conversation of what's the utility going to be, the how and when, everything around, with the business, the fund. And my kind of personally, I could talk about my role as, the team is extremely smart. I will say everybody, brings their own unique, smarts to the team of being able to develop this. And as everybody's talking it out, myself and everybody would sit there and go, okay, that's great, but when it comes to time, how much time is this going to take away from, say BD Capital, in the development phase? So it was a big balance of creating a powerful fund, sub fund outside of BD Capital, and at the same token, making it a, literally an easy staking token that Paul and AJ can pretty much transition to as just advisors and helping us out and the contacts and everything. And we're able to take it and run with it and build a powerful fund that will pay a great passive income. So just know from the BD Capital community standpoint, it was one of our it was the highest bullet point to say, okay, this is all great and dandy, but are we turning this into a full-time gig for Paul and AJ also? So it was the balancing act there, and I think we really put a lot of effort into dialing it in, so it's not, and that Carrie, myself, Martin, everybody on the team can just and everybody helping down to the mods inside the TG group, so everybody can contribute and take it and just run with it. But having the backing of Paul and AJ, to be there with us. So when it comes to the transparency, that Paul and AJ, and the whole team, are big on the transparency, giving you the answers. If we don't know the answers, then we'll find the answers, and we'll take note to get them to you. And so there's never anything just up in the air that you don't know. So when it comes down to the audit, we're going to be doing, if it's not Certec we do, then we'll do, a couple other audits, but they are going to be in the works, and we're serious about making that happen. And on top of that, we'll also be doing, there's no white paper out just yet, but we are working on it, and we will be creating the white paper and then putting it over to, our main man in the marketing to be able to dial it into a nice looking something. But we'll get the legwork done, come up with it, and we're talking timetable on that. We're thinking, probably around a few weeks, to make sure it's great. If we can get it out sooner, absolutely. But we were just kind of coming up with a rough idea, and through this development phase over the next few weeks, we'll be dialing it in as a team. So the KYC, we, Paul, AJ, the whole team, they're all KYC with InterFi. We will also, of course, be, I think I'm pretty much KYC. If you want to know anything, I'm an open book. My goal moving forward is to have, complete transparency and, build an honest, just a great rapport with the community, so that you are just as comfortable with Paul and AJ as you will be with, Carrie, myself, Martin, and everybody on the team. So, right now, we did all fully dox to each other. We have, all of our driver's license in a folder together. And of course, we gave everybody hell for how horrible we looked. It was a great moment, but you know, we are. You can ask any of us, and we're good to go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And yeah, no. So we're looking at timeframes. So timeframes is a big question on everyone's minds. I'm guessing. So seed, as everyone knows, starts on, well, tomorrow my time. Obviously, for people in America and Europe, it's going to be Saturday for you guys, so 2 days time. 14th of May at 9 p.m. UTC. That is when we open up the floodgates for seed. And there is going to be a cap on the seed. It's 1 BNB. I think that's right, Chris?
Yes, the max buy-in is 1 BNB, and if you don't,
so 1 BNB.
I'll just elaborate real quick on that. You know, we would all love to be in at seed phase with many more BNB, but the big focus is to make sure that everybody has a chance that wants to have a chance to get into the seed round. You know, and there definitely is already overflow going into the private round. So, you know, with that, you know, the earlier you buy, we also want to, you know, keep a stable floor for once we do launch. We don't want seed round holders to have such a massive advantage over people buying in at launch that it creates a dump risk. So, as much as we would all love to have a, you know, a great wallet right, you know, now, and then just when we launch, like, oh my God, I'm already 5x on this. You know, realistically, we want to make sure that when we launch, people feel comfortable that they're not too late, and that, you know, we also want to make sure that the people who buy in now the seed round are still benefited from it. You know, so we got to remember the buy tax, which you won't be paying, you know, on top of the percentage. So, yeah, just know, you know, there's a cap for a reason, and it's kind of working both ways.
Yeah, and this took us ages to come up with, because we know that we had a lot of interest on the seed, and we had a lot of people, and we were initially going to do more, and then we had this everyone coming and thought, oh, we have to reward the community, we have to reward the people who have stuck with us in the long term for banks. And so the only fair solution for us was to lower that. And I know that some people might be a little bit unhappy about that, but really it's going to be benefiting us all in the long run, because everyone's got a chance to get in on the absolute rock bottom floor. So 1 BNB, and as Chris said, the leftover, if you put a bit more than 1 BNB in, that gets automatically rolled over into your allocation for private round. Private round is going to be confirmed soon. It's hard to put timelines on the private because we're waiting for the white paper and the landing page to be done. As Chris said before, 3 weeks from now, we're saying as an estimate, might be more, might be less, but around that 3-week mark for the private sale to start. And basically, we want to have the private sale coincide with the launch of the white paper landing page, because we know you guys are, you know us, but the people in the private sale stage might not know us as well as you guys do. So it's really important to make sure we've got all that going, so they can find out about the project, about us, and then go forward from there. In terms of pre-sale, so it's going to be a little bit different to the banks one, because we're on a different network. So we used PinkSale for banks. This one, I'm in touch with 2 launch pads on the Avalanche network at the moment. We've sent them an initial pitch deck, which is what they wanted to see about us, and we're waiting to hear back from them now. So they're going over that as we speak, and as we get updates and information, we'll pass that on to you guys on when to expect that. And then, of course, launch is going to be sometime after that. So how to get into seed private round. So we shared the infographic the other day about how to get. I'll see if I can get that up or reshare it. If I go back into my pinned messages, and okay, so I'm just going to forward this again. All right. So yeah, basically, all the information for the seed round is on the poster that I just shared in the main group. We know it starts on Saturday, and actually that's a good point, Chris. Says Saturday 1 p.m. Did I say the wrong time before? Did I?
I don't know. I thought that was 1 p.m. UTC. Is that right?
1 p.m. Yeah, that's the poster. So, yep. Sorry about that. All right. So it is 1 p.m. Just confirm it is 1 p.m. on Saturday UTC time. There we go. And the other questions, yeah, so I spoke about the launch pad. I think, Chris, you want to talk about the social media approach that we're having for this Beast protocol now?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, how do I get this? What I want to say is this is another point that we were, touching on with regards to constantly thinking about BD Capital and making sure that we're not, hurting BD Capital in any way by creating this sub fund. So, with regards to social media, the TG channel especially, our goal is to create a TG channel for Beast Protocol that is really an information channel. So people can come in, they can get information on Beast Protocol, have their questions answered. And then, we're not trying to create a channel where people want to hang out. Like, I feel we have an excellent community over at BD Capital, and people can hang out there. We chat all day, all night. It's great. With Beast Protocol, we want people to come in, get their information, and then if they want to have a chat with others, there's going to be the Discord, which they can go over to the Discord and have a real, more community hub there, which is a big, use spot for AVAX investors. So, with the TG, you'll see you come in. I believe we have a couple of filters on there to make sure there's not really GIFs and photos and everything. We can have fun, of course, but people are more so going to be coming in to learn how to buy, to find out more about the project, the website, everything that they need to know in order to be an investor. Or if they're missing something and they are an investor, then we'll inform them and let them know. So with the Twitter, we're trying to stay away from doing the same type of I'll just say it, shilling campaign that we were doing with BD Capital and Banker Street. With Reddit, I'll go back to Twitter. With Reddit, our goal is to, again, going to have more of a info managed Reddit page where people can, come in, and as we're updating with tweets and everything along the way, we'll be doing the same thing on the Reddit page, and just really trying to dial back the, any of the FUD fighting and shilling campaigns that they're great and they're fun and they gain investors, but we're going to be trying to gain investors more from the Twitter platform and using the marketing people we're working with to be able to come up with some stuff to have a good drip of information and pieces to put out there. So not as much screaming at people on Reddit, but more so just a constant information drip. And again, that's not just designed to be easier. It is designed to be easier for the community managers. So, you will see that our community managers, our mods over on the TG, are the first two, Harish and Scott. They actually reached out.
Lee.
Take that back. Yeah. My bad. Sorry, Lee. Lee and Harish are going to be over there, with Scott taking over the head mod role over here at BD Capital. So, we're still, of course, around. We're not going anywhere, but we want to, as we're going to be the faces of Beast Protocol moving forward, it's sort of the handing of the baton, because we'll have other duties and a lot of AMA proposals to sift through. So, and delete probably, but Yeah, so we're just trying to take a different approach, and with the Twitter, we're going to be, we really want to gain a following there, and reach out to that different investor on the AVAX network. So we're not just trying to recreate the B2C chain and everything we did there. We're thinking, we're moving forward and trying to be a little more innovative on the AVAX front and what that investor might want versus the BSC investor.
Yeah, and also, like, I've been in a few AVAX projects before, and it is very Discord heavy. So the Avalanche network have most token projects and node projects on the on Discord. That's the hub of information. So it's going to look a little bit different, and that's fine, because we want to kind of separate the Telegram groups, as Chris was saying, and we want to appeal to that Avalanche investor. And so Discord is going to be a decent presence on there, and as well as the Telegram on here. And I think all the socials are going to be opening up at the conclusion of this AMA. So that's exciting for everyone to be able to come in to the groups there.
Yeah, and we're also, they're up and going. We're going to absolutely be fine tuning them. We have some more filters we want to put into the Beast Protocol Telegram group. Just more informational stuff, and then as we start having AMAs and the website and all that stuff that will be loaded up into the info category, you can visit all of that. So for right now, you're going to go in there and be like, hello, anybody here? But eventually it's the picking up of stuff. We'll get there with it. And Carrie and I have been talking about as far as what we want to do on the AMA front with Beast Protocol, and we thoroughly enjoy and love from the start what Paul has done with PD Capital and AJ, with being out in front all the time, just talking to people and getting out there. And as Carrie and I were sitting on a video chat the other day, we were hashing out some stuff and figuring it out. We sat there for 2 hours working on and talking about a lot of things. And we're just sitting there going, we're going to be fully doxxed. Everybody, who wants to, can chat. Somebody wants to call me, and you're in the States, feel free. I really, we're open books here. We want to be able to engage with everybody. So, Carrie and I are saying, hey, let's go ahead and, let's do video chats here and there, let's try to be right out front with people so you feel comfortable, just as comfortable investing with Beast Protocol, being that we're, setting up, it's a long-term, fund, just as is BD Capital. So we want people to feel good about parking money in the staking, earning their dividends on the fund. And then after the staking pool has finished, they keep their money in there with us and let it grow, let it build, and that passive income. And we'll be there, front and center the whole time, faces on the project, right there. So it's kind of our approach. It's a similar approach, of course, to Paul and AJ, just because it is all, it's one big group, and we want the whole group to have that great feeling of, safer, more secure environment. Because one thing, and I'll just touch on it real quick, is that we've been talking about a lot is, the vision that we have, and we kind of talk a lot of behind the scenes, is creating a network of projects and dev teams that work to change the altcoin market and crypto space into more safer and reliable environment. And we think, by being very transparent as much as we can be, we can do that. And that means teaming up with other reputable devs and projects, and it's going to carry in right to the BD Capital Launchpad platform. Everything that we're looking to do, even with me working with this marketing gentleman on our project, just being able to call somebody and have a real conversation, text each other back and forth, it's a good feeling in this space, which you can't often do. So we're looking to form those kinds of relationships moving forward, and we hope that the community sees it as they join with us and grow with us.
Yeah, exactly. And this the main message is that we are taking all the transparency and those things, the things that AJ and Paul and the team put in place for BD Capital, and we're going to be continuing that on, because I know that everyone wants to feel safe and secure in their investments. And really, in crypto, it is a minefield of those kinds of projects where devs can often hide behind the fake photos and they don't dox ever. And so we want to make sure that space is not what we're about. We want to make sure that we are front and center, we're approachable, and we have a presence there.
And
Harish,
I'll touch base. What's that?
I'm trying to, Harish. It's hard though.
One thing I want to touch base on real quick was, I mentioned the company filing, and we kind of decided that I would go ahead and do the company filing here in the United States. I'm still digging into it, and I really want to make sure it's a safe and secure filing. It's LLC, PLLC, multi-member, even a corporation. I'm going down that route just to make sure, like with my own private business, I have an LLC, but I'm not as, with a lot of people's money at stake here, literally, but I'm staking. We want to make sure that everybody is safe, and so we're taking our time on the contract side, making sure that's very safe. On the corporation side, making sure that's safe. And it's not the same type of filing as AJ and Paul are doing through Swiss, where where they're looking to have the real world assets down the line. And that's where it's a lot more complicated and takes more time, for those guys. And on this end for Beast Protocol, it's a lot more simple. It's not easy breezy, but with a little bit of thought, I got a few people I need to talk to and some stuff to figure out. We'll definitely get it done sooner rather than later. So I just wanted to touch base on that.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we're finished talking about Beast Protocol for now. So I guess we can open up to questions from the listeners.
Well, it looks like I got here. First one I see is Chris Churu, who created the contract. That is, one of Paul's contacts that he's been working with to create the same BD Capital contract, and working on that stuff. Paul, if I stand corrected there, right?
Yeah, I can just jump in for a second.
Please,
because
there we go.
It's a kind of well-known name in the BSC, or not BSC space, but crypto space. So basically, we are talking to Cracovia for him to do our contract. Not only the contract for Beast Protocol itself, but of course also the staking contract and the dashboard, which is needed to include there. Development of these things, they are rather fast from the development side for Cracovia, but this will start after the seed round, of course, right? But basically, we can look forward to have a contract done by Cracovia. He's the one, like usually he will go to the actual contract and verify everything and stuff like that. So it's kind of a very good thing to have such a well-known developer there. And of course, in regards of questions regarding is the dev, like the contract developer, able to access anything? No, we are looking to get out of every loophole or stuff, of course. That's also why we want to make multiple audits, just to be 100% sure there is no actual loophole or something created in it.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. Anybody else? There he is, Lee. Anybody else?
I think Chris had a question. I think Chris had a question before about the validation nodes. I'm not sure if you're still there.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, validation nodes. What will the price be?
So we're looking at all those the nodes, validation nodes coming in the Avalanche network. I'm not really sure off the top of my head how much they are. I think they're more monthly fees, I think, involved for those kinds of nodes. But something we can certainly look at for sure, and with a view to investing in those as well. Private sale cap is going to be ATB&B.
Yeah, if anybody wants to talk, like KJ said, please, feel free to hop on. So the utilities, so the utilities to be up and running. We were talking a bit. Carrie and I were throwing around some numbers, and then also with Martin, and we're, the utilities of staking. Carrie, correct me if I'm wrong, but staking you can stake right away, right after launch.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So staking right away. And we're still sorting out the locked or unlocked, but we are, working with that 30% APY. Oh yeah, sorry, Martin. I say Martin. I just, plain bowl Martin. So there we go. And as far as the fund is concerned, we were trying to put time on, how long until that pays out. We don't necessarily need to have, because we're going to hold back a certain amount to compound and then a certain amount to pay out. So Martin and I were talking yesterday, if we need to wait 3 months or not, and it's kind of variable as far as, once we launch, then we then have to invest in nodes. And if we invest in the nodes, how long is their lock period? So if they have a lock period and say their lock period is 30 days, then we're going to have a 30-day wait period. But we also need to, as we have our opening and we start buying from the tax, the nodes, there's going to be a buying process, then a lock period process. So, realistically, if the nodes are, say, just a daily compounding and, percentage payout, then, it could be rather quick within, maybe 2 weeks after launch. The furthest we're kind of thinking is, possibly, say, 2 to 3 months. So we just really need to see what products we're getting into, which we'll be sourcing out ahead of time. During this whole, build up and development phase, we'll be finding that stuff out. And that's the kind of stuff that when Carrie and I have, and I was talking about the AMAs earlier, but we're thinking we're not going to do dailies. We just don't have that much to say, although it might seem sometimes, but, we're thinking at least maybe a weekly, just, and of course, people really have more pressing questions, then we can hop on a couple times a week. So we're very flexible. And the great thing is we're in other sides of the world. So Carrie being in Australia, me in the United States, up in New York, him and I can really tackle different time zones very effectively, which, we've been doing as mods at BD. He's pretty much been what I call the night shift and on the day shift. I know he might see that different, but it really is a great dynamic to be able to move forward.
Yeah, and also going on that as well, there was a chart that was shared in BD Capital chat maybe 2 nights ago about the Avalanche network and where it's popular in the world. And it's amazing to see that it's quite different to BSC in terms of where it's popular. And BSC, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but I think it's popular around the Asian countries, like I guess China has a lot of those BSC projects. The Philippines do, I think, as well. I think India maybe. Whereas Avalanche is a little bit different in terms of the countries of choice. Like, for example, it's big in Europe. It's also big in America. There it is.
Go.
United States, you can see
Canada. Yeah, no, it's you're right on point with that. So it really is. It's time zone dependent and continent dependent, and things vary so much. So, like when we say we're really looking to gain a different investor base, that's really the big push behind being on a different blockchain. And Chris, I just wanted to address Chris real quick when he said hopefully the seed and private investors hold long term. The reason we feel very, very comfortable with opening up seed to BD Capital and only BD Capital, because the fact is, if you're in this chat right now, if you're in our TG group and you're still holding at this point, you know what a real investment is. Utility, you know it's not riches in just a couple months. So we feel very comfortable with the seed investors going in at this point, and then being with us long term. Of course, people are gonna still take a little profit, which you should. You need to make money. Like, we're not here just to hang out. People are in crypto to make money. But at this point in this this company, BD Capital, we're very comfortable with who is here and everybody investing in the seed round.
Yeah. Jake, with your question, excuse me. So I didn't mention this, but Paul did mention this when he spoke, that there's going to be a DApp, there's going to be a dashboard. The only thing we haven't worked out yet is whether it's going to be locked or unlocked staking. So yes, you'll get the 30% APY for staking. Whether that's locked or not is up in the air at the moment, but we'll get a definitive answer for you soon. And staking will be available on launch. Yeah.
So Gem Picker, there we go. Thanks, AJ.
Yeah, 1 p.m. UTC. That's the one.
And that'll be a form that we that is put in the group. People send over with their their pledge amount for seed and wallet address and everything, email, and yeah. Let's see, Jake and Reggie. There. I see a lot of people in the chat here. It's great to see you guys. Bijou, Eric.
That's
Peter,
a good
Timothy,
question there, Jake.
What do we got? Make any extra incentives? So Jake asks, would you make any extra incentives for people to lock up rather than just staking? So when it comes to incentives, I mean, Carrie, can I say this kind of want to be known, like, part of the NFTs? I mean, are we gearing that towards incentives for staking in a way?
Look, possibly long term, we could gear that up towards the staking part of things. Yeah, I think mainly from the way I look at things with the NFTs, it's going to be mainly for the fund side of things.
That's right, it's fun. Yep.
But for sure, we can look at other possibilities with using those NFTs for the staking. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so Jake, these are the great questions that I kind of, when we're spitballing and just throwing things out there and in the development phase and trying to work through stuff, Paul is really good at coming back saying, well, okay, great idea, guys, but on the contract side, it makes things X complicated, or we got to look at how easy it might be, because we are also trying to stick with that static APY and have that more attractive, stable yield. So yeah, I guess it's something that we could talk about, definitely.
In terms of auto compounding, yeah, as Paul said, we're just working on that with the devs. We're not sure yet, but as soon as we'll get answers to that, we'll let you guys know, of course.
Anybody else have any good questions for us? Something you're wondering from the community front, from the staking fund front? Feel free to raise your hand and ask questions if you'd like.
I got a good one.
Hey!
Oh, here we go.
This one's for you, Carrie.
I'll just jump in. No, but it's not a bad one. Don't worry. But basically, as we all know, NFTs, they are like, people are looking at NFTs in a divided way. Could we get a little bit more into detail of how we want to implement it, not only as an art feature, as an NFT which is only working as art, but basically covering both spots? So basically the art aspect and the utility aspect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can handle this.
Carrie, do you want that one?
Yeah, so basically the what we've been throwing ideas around in the team chat at the moment for this is that NFTs, so we're going to have a collection of up to, I don't know, 5,000, 7,000 NFTs, all unique. So, you know, the rarities and, you know, the typical kind of collection of NFTs where you have like the rarest to commons, and those NFTs will be of like a Beast kind of theme, to keep in with our Beast protocol theme. And what we're going to do is we're going to link those to the fund. So basically what's going to happen is people who hold the NFTs will then have access to the fund, to the dividends of the fund. That's what we're looking at the moment. Whether that changes or anything in the future, that's up in the air at the moment. But basically what it's going to be is it's going to be tied as a utility to the fund. So people who own the NFTs, then basically it is a way of paying out from the investment fund.
Yeah. So for for those holding the NFT, they'll be rewarded for holding longer in the fund.
Yeah.
So that's how we plan on tying it. Like I said, the fine details are being worked out, but we're making it. We're not, and I'm not much of an NFT guy. I enjoy NFT as far as our artwork goes, and buying apes and stuff. But when it comes to NFTs as tickets for stuff, we're looking to, this is going to be a ticket into the fund for holding long term and having, your dividend, your reward coming from holding. But it's also going to have the art aspect. So Carrie's been working with a community member in the art realm and really doing a lot of work on how to get out to the art industry or the art community and help with creating an appropriate artwork collection for our NFTs, which are, they're not just, artwork NFT cards that are, pricey. It's your ticket into the fund for greater dividends.
Yeah, and people in the chat know that I'm a bit of a sucker for NFTs, so we'll.
No, I know. Yeah.
We'll make sure that the NFTs are going to be visually awesome to look at as well. So they're tied in to a particular use case, but as well we want that to also look good as well. So people would like to have that as their profile pictures if they would like to. So it's going to be the twofold aspect of that.
I think I would call it a double whammy.
Double whammy, that's the one. Yeah,
that's a double whammy. Yeah, the best of both worlds.
That's it.
The Chris's and the Carries.
NFT versus the one that is a little bit hesitant to NFTs.
Exactly.
Anyone have any other questions for the chat? NFTs. I know, AJ. Amazing, isn't it? Actual use case.
I think AJ and I, birds of a feather flock together. That's what they say. So Chris asked again. Okay, got your answer there. Cracovia. Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anybody else? Can we answer any questions for you at this point? Again, we're going to be opening up the socials. And we'll probably reiterate a lot of the stuff that if you ask questions that we've talked about here, but there's a lot of stuff that we might have missed. So please, we'll drop a link to the TG channel. Maybe we can get some of the chatter going there. And also one thing that I kind of was pressing, not necessarily like, I came up with a little bit of a write-up, and it was pretty much to welcome members, engage, inform. And then after we do all that, we want them to not to say head out, but we're not trying to create that community aspect there. We really want to inform people about investing, with the community being over in the Discord. So Haris was funny. He's like, "Wait, you want me to tell him to leave?" And I got a pretty good chuckle out of that. And I was like, "No, we don't want to tell him to leave. But what we do want to, say is, get them to the right spot if they do want to chat with others. And we can also say, hey, or please visit, our roof, our main fund, BD Capital, if you want to, talk with other, Beast Protocol members. So it really is a way to, not just have them hear through the grapevine and see, but actually engage with BSC members coming from AVAX.
Yeah.
When are these channels getting open? I think, Jake, we're going to be opening them up. I think immediately after the AMA. And then we'll start once we get some of the marketing material for the Twitter. We're going to dial that in, and I'll start dripping that out as well and trying to gain a following there.
Chinese community, not yet, but that's in the plans for the future, for sure. If you're in the AMA. Any other questions for us before we open up the socials? You can see a couple of people typing. So right. AJ has just changed the group name to BD Community Hub. Do you want to talk more about that, Chris, or not me too, or?
Oh, you can go ahead. You're good.
Yeah, so basically we want to make this group a hub, because really we want to have the separate group for Beast Protocol, and basically the hub, along with Banks token, is going to be the central, kind of like the hub of all BD Capital projects that might come in the future. So the idea is to keep this as a hub where people can then come in after coming into the Beast Protocol telegrams. They can come into our groups and into the hub, and then they can find out about who we are and what we do. So basically, the BD Community Hub is like the big umbrella over other future projects, including Beast Protocol.
Because we also, excuse me, we look at Beast Protocol, while it was a first, let's get this project rolling. Because I think everybody here knows by now that BD Capital will be one of the biggest holders in Beast Protocol, and will be receiving, dividends and rewards directly to the fund, growing the fund for the BD Capital investors. So really the idea of having this sub fund, then we started thinking when we went towards AVAX, like, hey, you know what? AVAX isn't the only other blockchain out there. There's a lot of blockchains. There's a lot of places we could go, a lot of attention we could get, by, say, tweaking the different fund style when we go places. So really, it's one of these, we're growing, we're growing as a team, as a community, and there's just a lot of possibilities out there, and we're just trying to forward think and set ourselves up for, once the funds start growing, the market's going to recover. It's going to be brighter days, and with those brighter days, will probably come other projects. No time soon, of course, because we want to get these guys up and running. Carrie and I will be working our tails off with Martin on Beast Protocol. But of course, always helping out with BD as well. And yeah, so we're trying to build a good something here. With a professional docs team, and with full transparency for everybody. So I know that helps in the space.
Yeah, we're building a brand, aren't we? Really, like we're building a brand that people in crypto will see as BD Capital, and they'll see, and they'll hopefully they'll see us and they'll see that name, and they'll think, well, that means security, that means safety, it means trust, and so that's what our plans are going in to the future.
Is there a limit? Is there a limit of BNB we can send? Someone sends 4 in BNB. other 3 automatically go to private. What happens if private runs out? I think, honestly, what happens if I get the BNB back? Yeah, your BNB is not going to be lost. Most likely, we have an 80. What'd you say, Carrie? 80 BNB for private.
Yeah, so BNB you can pay in AVAX or BNB for private. But if you want to do BNB, then yeah, basically if anything that that doesn't, if you reach the cap in seed, then everything else just gets rolled over to private, and that's all well and good.
It's a little more, it's a little more of an administrative, work. So if you can wait till private, cool. If you want to get your funds in there, we completely understand. At least we know you're committed, so that's cool. All right. Anybody else? Did that answer your questions? Schnookums? Oh, it's a Schnookums.
Schnookums.
Schnookums. Yeah, it's like a pet name. I like that. I didn't even know it.
I like it.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Schnookums isn't in the AMA, I think. No.
Oh, okay. All right. Should have looked for that.
Send a couple of questions. A couple of people typing now.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Here we go. 4 people.
What we got? Oh, wait. Before we do, I forgot I was going to show, when we first started coming up with the design, of where we wanted to go, I said, Carrie, I need, you have this name, like you have this vision, like I need you to put on paper, what is this vision? And shoot, I messed it up here. Hold on. And I was like, Carrie, just do the best you can, artwork wise. And this is what he sent me. So this is really where it all started from, was this right here. So oh goodness.
You meant that.
Yeah, see, this is okay. So here's the most valuable number one. Here's going to be our number one NFT right there.
Reserved for the devs.
Yeah, exactly, Schnookums.
And some people would pay 5 Ethereum for this.
I think Carrie subbed it out, to a. Sandra, I see Sandra and Money Bin typing. Sandra, any questions?
Money Bin for you, I'll do 4.5 ETH.
Tim, I know you're regular around here. If you have any questions, please ask. Jump in nodes. Let's know if we can invest in nodes via Beast protocol, or will you invest in nodes and pay holders via Beast fund? Exactly, Sandra. So we're going. I mean, you can of course, on privately, you can invest in nodes. That's what people do. We're going to be investing as a fund. So the bigger the better, a more powerful, bigger presence. As well, the team that we have behind us working to figure out which ones, pay the best, the longevity, and it's something that we're going to be, actively managing with a just a dialed in, smart team of people who know the scene. So you don't have to invest in the node. Of course, you can go searching out there and, do it yourself. But, we're looking to make this, like any fund where you can just put into the fund and then have it pay back to you passively so that you don't have to worry about it. Because honestly, and like we all know, there's a lot going on in life, and the idea behind investing in passive income is that, it's just passive. You invest, let it sit, and earning money. That's what we're aiming for.
And just to reiterate, the man himself is in the AMA now. So we did mention your name before, Rob, but he is the guy behind the scenes, working on as an advisory role for the fund. Just because he has a massive knowledge of how the protocols work and the nodes work and good investing strategies. So we'll be putting him to good use, and he'll be advising us on the best path forwards in all our different investments.
Anybody else? We can.
Oh, Rob wants to speak, I think.
Oh, Tim.
Yes, go ahead, Rob.
Sorry. I think Timothy's raising his hand.
Yep.
Hey, Tim.
There you go, Timothy. I think you can talk now.
Meant to unmute yourself.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
How's it going, man?
I'm doing, man. I'm frying some chicken for my son. That's what I'm doing.
Excellent.
You know?
Nice.
Yeah, I know, right? So listen, man. You know, I'm bleeding. I'm like a 200 grand down, but I invest in people. I think a lot of us are bleeding right now with the market the way it is. Kind of crazy, right? Yet you invest in people, and I look around at what we have, and and the 20 projects I'm in right now. There's only one where I actually can pop in and get a laugh and understand that people are just trying to live their lives, and that's the BD community. So, you know, you have to invest in folks, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'll support it in both rounds. And I have never bought AVAX before, ever, right? So it's pretty damn cheap right now. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly, do I buy a BNB, which I do have some, or do I buy AVAX? I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure out what I should buy today to get ready for this upcoming round.
Well, you know, we really appreciate that, Timothy, because I mean that's really the goal. I mean that's been the goal this whole time. You know, from the beginning of Banker's Dream. You know, I wasn't there in the beginning. I came on January 19th. Yep, I came on January 19th. I remember my first buy, and then I remember joining the community and just hearing Paul speak and just actually talk to people. I mean, that's what's going to get us through moments like this in the market. So we're looking to, you know, bring the same thing to Beast Protocol. And we're all going to be working together all the time anyhow. I mean, we're really going to be one big, BD Capital's one big umbrella company. So, you know, thanks, man. You know, that's excellent. And we always try to, you know, just be there if people have questions. And like I said, with the strategic partners moving forward, you know, working with, like, say, the marketing guy we're working with right now. I mean, I was blown away the other day. It was a little test tonight. We were just on TG, and I said, hey, man, since you're in Atlanta, why don't you just text me when you're ready? I'm working, then I'll hop back on. And he texted me. I gave him my phone number, and then he ended up calling me. And we were both blown away that we were talking to an internet friend on the phone. So it's really that transparency, you know, in that community, whether it's somebody you're working with or you're invested with. We want to keep that, and we want to build it. So we appreciate it, man.
So the question I literally need to know, should I buy BNB or AVAX? I really need to know that.
Oh, so
like, it's a real question,
if you're going to be, if you're going to be buying AVAX, you can do either right now for seed round.
Let me rephrase it.
Yeah.
Which way is easiest for you to use as a project lead?
I think.
Right. So if I was building a building,
either.
Right, I would ask.
I think
neither.
Okay. No, not neither. I said either. But I would say at this point for seed round, you know, it's only a couple days away. So if you have BNB, you know, BNB it's pretty cheap at the moment. So really, you're going to get the bang for your buck if, you know, you purchase it, you know, and buy it at this moment. But also AVAX is cheap as well, so it wouldn't hurt. You know, I'm not an advisor on this front, but if I were doing it, which I will be doing it, then I would probably I'm going to send some BNB because it's easy. But I also know I can get AVAX, I believe, off of Poocoin or I don't know where else. I mean, I think maybe Coinbase as well. Maybe
you can get it about anywhere.
Yeah. So you're just able to then buy from one of those sites like you would BNB, and it's actually probably easier for me in New York to purchase AVAX than it is BNB. So I'll probably buy
I'm
it
in
off the
Chicago,
Coinbase.
so it's a pain in my ass too. So
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
B&B's
exactly.
a pain,
So
man. I got to move it around. I got to buy tether.
I know.
It's
So
a pain in the ass, man.
it might be
Excuse
good
my
just to
language.
start off buying $20 and giving it a go and sending it somewhere. But yeah, I think it's going to be, one half dozen of another.
No, I can get AVAX. I think you answered all the questions. We can get AVAX here in this country pretty easily, and I can send it directly without filtering it through others. So thank you.
Yeah. So
I won't take up your
yeah,
time,
you
so
bet,
I
man.
appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet, man. Whatever's easiest for you.
Hey, Chris, to add on to that, definitely is not financial advice, but
it's definitely not. No, that's why I said I don't know.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to use AVAX and go liquid stake it. Then I'm getting 7% no matter if I even lost everything.
Yeah, there we go.
So then you can turn around, take it to Trader Joe and get what you want to go put into the fund.
Yeah. Robert, that's why.
Wait, say that again. Wait, what are you doing? Hold on, wait, I want to hear that again. You're doing what? I heard 7%.
I take my AVAX and I put it in BenQ.fi. Then it's liquid staking. They give you SAVX, and you can take that over to Trader Joe and do whatever you want with it. So you're getting 7%
we gotta talk
liquid
offline
staking.
about that one. Yeah, you gotta
there's a lot of options out there like that a lot of people don't know about.
Okay.
And that's exactly why we have Rob in charge of that.
Yep.
I just lost connectivity before. Sorry, guys. I was out for about a minute or two. Was that question answered that Chris had about the NFT artist?
I do not. Oh, do you guys have an artist in mind? Yeah. So Carrie's been on that, working with one of our community members, and I think he's dialing in on an artist. Right? Is that right, Carrie?
Yeah, that's right. So we got one main one in mind. Got a couple of other ones as backup if it doesn't work out. But I like this guy's style of doing things. He's a very professional, up and coming artist in the NFT space, I guess you call it. And we're excited to give you some teasers along the way of what the art's going to look like.
All right. Anybody? We miss anybody here? Any good questions?
Just going through now.
Good question. It could be one of my dumb questions, but we'll still answer it. So there we go.
I was going to say something about AVAX before. Was that this is before we even thought up Base Protocol was AVAX was on its way to $150 to $200. I think personally before the crash happened. So if you, it's not financial advice, of course, but if you take that into account, then you can see that it's certainly at a discount at the moment, and there's a lot of room to grow. Yeah,
well, that's the thing. I mean, again, I guess I gotta start being like everybody else and say it's not financial advice, but looking at where we're sitting at the moment, everybody says buy the red. We are, in my view, I mean, we're hitting the bottom here. We might keep going a little bit, but when it comes to people asking if they're worried or if we should be worried about launching a project in this kind of market, no, we're not. We're confident on the utilities that will be coming out, and there are people out there, they're wanting to invest in this market. They're smart, they know, and if AVAX, which we're going to be paired with, if AVAX is sitting very low and in a bad spot like everything else, then when it starts to recover, we're going to be looking even better. It's going to drag us up with it. So yeah, I mean, really a year ago, if we had started this and you put you sent over $600 for one BNB, and we bought in at that. Well, now it's $270. It could be a little lower soon, and that's a great buy-in. So, Bin, what's your predictions for market recovery? I'll let Carrie.
Oh, look, who knows? I mean, Bitcoin could be $0 tomorrow, could be $100,000 tomorrow. Like it's just such a massive range. But I personally think it's going to turn around in the coming few weeks. I reckon maybe June, July, we'll see a bounce back. It might get lower before that. Bitcoin might get down to the low 20s. But yeah, I think we're going to see a massive trampoline effect coming up soon. Because it has to, like, whatever goes down has to come up again. And I think it's the same for crypto. It's just gonna wait for the cycle. And I know quite a few people. I was telling Chris this other day. I think that this big dump is possibly the first one that a lot of people have had in crypto, because crypto, with the BSC network coming out around 2 years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, there hasn't been a real catastrophic dump in that time, like we did in like the early years of like back 4 or 5 years ago. So I think it might turn quite a few people off initially, but then other people will see that as a big time to buy and sweep the floor. And with the mass adoption around the corner, like I was hearing each day in Australia even about companies getting on board with crypto, having superannuation, which is like the 401ks that Americans have, offered in crypto, looking at other things. Banks now offering crypto. Mainstream adoption is around the corner, I think, and I think it's have to wait for that. And if you get in early and buy the dips now, not financial advice again, but I think you'll do very well in the future. Leveraged shorts, they make crazy money. Yeah. I heard someone that shorted Luna and he made, I think, 3,500% gains.
All right. Anybody with any more questions with regards to, fund or staking or anything? Even, moving on from here, if you have any questions as far as community and what we're looking to do, how we're going to get there, just reach out. Just let us know. So I don't see anybody typing. Kerry, anything you want to close with? Feeling good?
Yeah, feeling good, excited, like really excited to share the project with you guys and have you guys in the socials, and also pumped to start getting the promotional marketing stuff out so you guys can share it on your feeds as well, because yeah, I mean, seed round is now or tomorrow my time, but of course when private sale kicks off, and especially with pre-sale, like I've been on the launch pads, and the pre-sales for AVAX, they're decent. Like some people are raising well over $500,000 to $1 million in launchpad in the pre-sale. So we're not looking to do anything like that, but obviously I'm just saying that the potential is there, and people are really wanting to get onto the Avalanche network. So it's a massive opportunity to tap into that market.
And when we're tapping into that market, just know that along the way here, there's an echo chamber, with our group we're working in, to develop this, where we come up with ideas, we think it over, we throw it around, but at the end of the day, we always ask, is this sustainable? Is it safe? We want to create a product that isn't just a one and done and gone. And that's the idea behind these funds. So with BD Capital, now Beast Protocol, and of course, not thinking too far ahead, but we see it. So we're looking to create something sustainable for everybody, to have that passive income and feel very comfortable with just setting their money, earning 30%, earning a dividend, and just being happy being with us. So we appreciate it.
Never done a seed round before. How does it work? Yeah, so basically all you got to do, Schnuckums, is send over the BNB on the dot of, or as close to 1 UTC as possible, because it is, it is a certain case of first in best stress, because it will go fast, and just know that whatever excess you send will go then over to the private sale. Schnuckums. Love that name.
Yeah, me too.
I hope that answers the question for you. I'm not sure if you're in the AMA though. I can't see your name, so I'm not sure if that was falling on deaf ears or not. Can you see him in there?
Yeah, I think it was actually. So we'll have to reply to him. And I can't walk and chew gum without falling over, so I have somebody else reply or reply to you after the AMA.
Oh, you are. That's fine. All good. All good.
Cool.
Excellent.
All right, cool. Well, if nobody else has any more questions, on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube, of course. Yeah.
Paul, would you like to say anything? Feel good or?
I mean,
still with us?
You guys nailed it, really. Loved the AMA. Really
you learned
the
from the best.
No, but it was quite, I think for everyone in here, it was quite important, of course, to clear out some things before the actual seed round starts. And I guess the best way now is to open the socials for the seed round on Saturday, and then we can move forward to actually doing the first steps, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And then again, Harish and Lee are going to be the main guys on the ground in our, and of course, Carrie and I will be over there also in the TG, helping people out. So yeah, we're going to be adding stuff to it. So, we've been doing a lot on the development scene and, working with the marketing gentlemen and getting that stuff going. So it's a whole lot of stuff we're still working on, but we're going to dial in the socials even more. And we hope you're all happy with it. If it's something that, you need to be, feel more comfortable as a BD investor with the direction it's going, you can always let us know, and tell us. Because we're all about the community engagement. My role that I've seen myself with at BD Capital, over the past so many months, I wasn't sure what I was doing. I'm like, what am I doing hanging out in here all the time? Like, I want to, I got a life to live, but I also want to secure my investment and everybody else's investment. So I put myself in the role of like a liaison, liaison working with the team, with the community, which, in terms is a mob. So, if we're not just developers, we're still community members and investors. So, at this point, you can still reach right out to us. And, like I told you, you can give me a phone call, TG call, I don't really care. So just know, we're here for you full time.
Yeah, no, exactly right.
Excellent. Well, if nobody else has any, questions, I think we're going to go ahead and close out this AMA, and then what do you say here? Jeff Bezos.
Well, if Chris's profile picture is anything to go by, Chris will be bald soon, so you never know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad I got that this morning, and I couldn't send it back for corrections. Jeez Louise. That's all right. You always like to think you look better, and then you're like, no, you know what? That's so. Anyway, all right. Well, listen, if anybody has any questions, reach out to us, please. Go to the TG. We're going to drop it in here. And then, we're going to keep on moving along together and making this happen. So thank you very, very much, everybody, for joining us today. And we will talk to you all soon. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for coming on board.
All right. Have a great night or day or afternoon. Bye-bye.
Perfect. Thank you guys for being in here. And I think this went on very well for quite a long time. We got some very nice questions, and big thank you to Chris, Carrie, Martin, and everyone dropping in. We will close the AMA. We will share the socials for Beast, and then fill it, right? Fill it. Fill it, people. Fill it and get ready for the future. The market won't stay this way for too long. Remember this, right? And as Robert said, take these opportunities. They are quite important. All right. then I will proceed. I'll close the AMA for today, and we move on to our beast socials now, right? All right, people. Thank you, and bye-bye.